Hi guys, I was just about to start uploading a video to YouTube and I was just struck by something, so I stopped and started again. The LC means lunar calendar. I think that's what it means. The 15 that's marked in the ground down here, I now think it actually corresponds to July 15, which is why the other way around it can be represented as a 7, because the 7 does represent the month of July. July and 15, but not July 15th on the Gregorian calendar, July 15 on the lunar calendar, which is July 27th. On July 27th, we have the longest lunar eclipse of the century taking place, turning the moon blood red. The apple could be a representation of that. Not only will the moon be blood red for the longest time it has been in over a century, but Mars, or War, will simultaneously appear brighter than normal as it passes its closest to Earth in 15 years. So Mars, the planet, the representation of War, coming the closest to Earth it has in 15 years, where there's a 15 marked on the ground, which also corresponds to the 15th of the lunar calendar in July. It all seems to, connect together. So the apple could be a representation of a blood moon, as well as Mars being its closest and brightest to Earth it has been in 15 years. 15 July on the lunar calendar is the 27th of July, which is the same day that this whole thing is happening. So that's one connection. I just wanted to quickly point that out. Down here, I think we've got the number 17, and I don't know the interpretation for this, but something connects to the pound. Maybe the pound loses a quarter or half its value, because it seems like, some of the coin is covered, so maybe it loses a quarter or half of its value, or something else associated with the pound or the UK on the 17th of the lunar calendar, which would be the 29th of July. So we've got the 27th of July, blood moon, 29th of July, something possibly connected to the pound in the UK. That connects with the 15 on the floor, lunar calendar wise, and the 17, which may be on Obama's foot, lunar calendar wise. Now I'm discarding the 18 that I've been talking about in terms of the 15 being connected to the sea, which could be a representation of the number 3. I'm just going to leave that interpretation to one side. So I'll move on to the next one, which is when the apple splits open. Excuse me. We have, oh, sorry, I forgot to mention the blood moon on the 27th, considering it's the longest blood moon we have, and we have Mars being the closest to Earth it's been in 15 years. I don't know if that could have some effect on the waves, or they could say it has some effect on the waves, and it could be a cover for something else. Could be a tsunami, or could be tsunami-like waves, maybe flooding, I don't know. That's just, something that could possibly happen, with this phenomenon that's going on with the moon on the 27th. When the apple splits open, we have the 2 and the 1 and the roots from the seed connecting together, and with its shadow forming the number 8. And I've already talked about how the 21st of August is the date that Hawaii received statehood. We also have the representation of the volcano on the apple, so it looks like there may be a connection with the volcano on the 21st of August, but not the 21st of August on the Gregorian calendar. Once again, the 21st of August on the lunar calendar, which is actually the 2nd of August. So quite clever. It's going into the 2nd of August. That's a representation of 21 and 8, but not later on in the month in terms of the Gregorian calendar, early in the month. 2nd of August, 21/8 on the lunar calendar. And I believe that is what this is referencing, since it seems to be connected with the lunar calendar here, 21/8. Something happens with a volcano. I don't know if that's a volcano we haven't talked about, or if it's Yellowstone, or if it's Kilauea. The more likely scenario would be Kilauea, considering it's already erupting and there's been some pretty spectacular events coming out of that particular volcano. It is connected to Hawaii, and Hawaii is connected to Obama, so there seems to be a chain of connections there. So I'm going to leave that interpretation as that is. Obviously, if something does happen, like the volcano splits, a piece of it splits off, for example, a lot of lava has been going into the ocean and it's created a lot of new land. That land is unstable, obviously, and if that was to split off, I don't know if that would be tsunami causing. That's just another interpretation. It could be that the volcano erupts violently rather than splitting, you know, causing some large-scale devastation on the island, which is why we see Obama looking kind of worried. But then we get on to the 22nd of August on the lunar calendar, which is the 3rd of August on the Gregorian calendar. And that date is interesting to me because I think it is connected with a missile launch, whether that might be from North Korea, Russia, or even Iran. The reason I'm saying that is because we appear to have a line here which gives us a divide. So if you go from here down and across, you've got an F, and then we've got number 3. And if you take it all together, you've got the letter A there as well. Well, I checked on the calendar, and that all of that kind of corresponds to one day this year left in this year, which is Friday, the F, the 3rd, the 3 of August, the A. So looks like Friday the 3rd of August, there's going to be a missile launch of some kind. It could be North Korea, considering they're continuing to expand their nuclear program, and there's been some recent disagreements between the North Korean government and the United States government. It could be Russia, although I'm thinking not so much Russia on this particular one. They'll come later. Or it could be Iran, which it may be, because if you go to this scene here, if we're talking about the 3rd of August, we've got 3 planes in the shape of an A, and that could be saying to us that on the 3rd of August, a missile launch may be coming from Iran, responded to by Israel, if we believe this is Israel or the United States. That, again, the plane attack then moves on to hit a mosque. As I said, the mosque could be a literal mosque, or it could be a representation of a Muslim site or Islam in general. It could be a direct strike on Iran, or it could be a larger strike on Syria, Iranian bases in Syria. So there's a few different scenarios to look at there. And then we get on to the 23rd of August on the lunar calendar, which is the 4th of August on the Gregorian calendar. A couple of things stand out. If we go back to Bush, the first thing is he is wearing a dunce cap. That's one interpretation, but it's also the same shape as a party hat, and he has the letter D on there, which again could be multiple representations. The D could represent a D for Donald Trump, which George Bush could represent in this video, but the D could also represent a number, which is the number 4. D is the 4th letter of the alphabet. If we're thinking about a party and the number 4, then the 4th of August, the 23rd of August on the lunar calendar, is Obama's birthday. And when we are in the iPet Go 2 video and we're seeing Obama 22nd, possibly a missile launch from North Korea, Russia, or Iran, looking worried, the day before, something happening with maybe the Kilauea volcano, we then come outside, see Psalm 23 on the wall, and we've taken that to mean the 23rd of something. Well, I think it's the lunar 23rd, which is August the 4th, Obama's birthday, and I think that is the day that Russia and the submarines come along, and the strike is either going to be on the UK, because I do believe that the pound symbol is represented in the head and the eye of the shark here, or it could be that it strikes Florida, as we have George Bush's pinky pointing at Florida, his index pointing to the ocean, his thumb pointing to the flaming house, and this pinky pointing towards the submarine and shark. And these two, they're making some kind of symbol or some kind of image. I just can't make out what it is, but I don't think he's pointing to anything there, because it's not, it's kind of bent, and this one is pointing kind of forward, so it's not pointing at anything on the behind him as the other fingers are doing. You can clearly see that these ones are pointing at something, these two are doing something else. So that's pretty much my interpretation. On the 23rd, I think it will be Russian submarines launching missiles, and that will be the 4th of August on the Gregorian calendar. Also in the shark's eye, I'm not sure if you can see it, but you've got the L, which I've mentioned before, inside of the shark's eye, inside of the flame, and that could obviously be a representation of the number 12, time, maybe midnight, or it could even be the long hand and short hand of a clock pointing to 3 o'clock, maybe 3 a.m. And that is a time that has been, talked about in various different medias. One comes to my mind straight away, which is The Simpsons, and obviously they have been connected with the previous 9/11. So, you guys, I think that's my whole interpretation for this. Just for a quick reiteration, because I know there was a lot of information to take in that video, but it started basically with the scene over here, the 15th of the lunar calendar, the 27th of the Gregorian calendar, the 27th of July is the longest blood moon in history. Mars is going to be its closest to Earth it's been in 15 years, and its brightest, and there appears to be some connection with a tsunami-like wave. I don't know if it's an actual full-on tsunami or if it's just kind of tsunami-like in terms of flooding and stuff like that. And then there may be a connection on the 17th to the UK and the pound coin. That would be the 29th of July on the Gregorian calendar. And then we've got the 21 and 8, which is the date that Hawaii received statehood. That would be the 2nd of August on the Gregorian calendar. Could be a volcano split or volcano massive eruption like Kilauea. Could be large-scale devastation, could generate a tsunami, could do none of those. This is all just interpretations. Then we move on to the 22nd of August on the Gregorian calendar, which is where we see Obama with the sweat on his forehead, looking kind of nervous. Also, the interpretation from the missile, Friday, the 3rd of August, looks like there's some sort of missile launch, maybe from North Korea, Russia, or Iran. On the same day, looks like there's a connection with the Israeli or the USA planes, depends on how you want to look at them. 3 planes in the shape of an A, 3rd of August. Maybe a plane attack, we'll look out for that. And then the 23rd of August comes, and we've got the connections that we talked about in terms of Russian submarines launching a possible attack. The 23rd of August being the 4th of August on the Gregorian calendar, Obama's birthday, which could be where we get the party hat, and the letter D, which could represent the number 4, which if it is, then, I don't really know any other really famous person whose birthday is on August the 4th. There's probably loads actually. If I go on Google, I'll probably find loads. And again, in the shark's eye, could be the time 3 if it's a long hand and a short hand, or it could be the time 12 if it's a letter L and it represents the number 12. In relation to the submarines being Russian and launching an attack on possibly the UK, but more indicated on Florida, we had the video released from Putin earlier this year.
Russian President Vladimir Putin says he isn't trying to ignite a new Cold War, but Putin is touting Russia's new invincible nuclear-powered missile that is capable of hitting anywhere in the world, according to him. Putin showed a video as proof, simulating Russian missiles apparently raining down on Florida near the president's Mar-a-Lago estate. Our next guest is...
So you see, in the real news, we have Russia putting that out. And then in the iPad Goat video, we have submarines, missiles, Florida, the ocean, a house on fire. Again, that could represent Mar-a-Lago, who knows. But there's a lot of things going on, so that is why I am putting out this warning, changing my dates from the earlier dates in July to later dates in July, starting from July 27th, when we have the blood moon, which is the 15th on the lunar calendar, going up to August the 4th, which is the 23rd on the lunar calendar. I hope you guys were able to follow that. It was a lot of information. Even I don't usually write things down, but I had to write this down when I was thinking about it, because a lot of it was making sense, especially the Friday, August the 3rd, and then the connection to all of that. You guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.